Why your life is so unpredictable, and it's not what you think. We're all missing a fundamental piece of the puzzle. We're not living with intention. So how do you live with intention? Just look around you and look at what you're watching. Look at what you're consuming. Look at what people are consuming. What are people talking about? Where's the focus? What is being consumed that's causing us the way we think? I mean, if we were to live with intention, we probably wouldn't watch or listen to a lot of the things that are being said. I mean, consider it for a moment. What are political leaders saying right now? What are people in the media and the movies saying? What are they doing? What are they showing us? What are they indicating that is important to us? What are they bringing to our attention? I mean, the greatest thing that we can do that is going to give us the best things in our lives is to focus our attention on the things we want. By giving our attention to things that we don't want or we don't like or that cause fear or anxiety or doubt, that will move us in a path of losing our power. So we are in a position of either pain or power. That's what Susan Jeffers wrote in her book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. So if you want to have power, then you have to leave aside and ignore so much information. You have to choose not to participate. So as an example, and this is what I do, you can choose not to participate in watching news. Why? Because the news could be fake. It could be just getting your attention. There's a saying that what bleeds leads. So if it's showing murder and all sorts of havoc and difficulties and challenges, that's what's going to get people's attention. And it's natural for us to want to watch that because it's a solution that we can try and solve in our own minds, or that we can feel sorry or compassionate for others. But the bottom line is, we are not living with intention because we don't know what we want. And that's called values. We don't have values. Why? Because we have political leaders, like in this country, we have Justin Trudeau. He's done some illegal things. He's taken money from others and from sources that he shouldn't have, a charity of some kind, and he is not being charged. He doesn't have to go to jail. He's not paying any fines. And so what does that tell you? He doesn't have any morals. He doesn't have any values. Or we might look at somebody like Denzel Washington, and there's posts about him saying nice things, and he's doing speeches in front of college and university grads and saying a lot of great things and motivational things, but yet his movies have killing in them and guns. Not all, but there's quite a few that I've seen where there's violence and guns and killing. And so the message is very conflicting. It's like, is Denzel Washington a nice guy? Because, on Social Network, it looks like he is. But then in the movies, he's killing all these people, or there's killing involved and violence. So, what is it? What are his values? What are his morals? We don't know. It's conflicting. Or the political leader. They say a lot of great things. They say they're going to do a lot of good things for us, but then they turn around and they do illegal things, or they say nasty things, or they point the finger at people. And then what do we, are we liking them or not? So very conflicting. We don't know what their values are, what their morals are. So how can we possibly look at the leaders of the world and people that we see on the big screen and say to ourselves, oh, they are a role model. I can follow them. They have values. They have principles. I can understand, the way they think and the way they do things. And so our lives are unpredictable because we don't have values and principles and morals. We don't have those things. They weren't taught. They're not taught in school. No blaming the schools. We're not going to blame the schools here, but it's not taught in schools. Values and morals and principles are not taught in schools, even Catholic schools. I was in a Catholic school, and I don't remember the morals and values and principles that we had there, really, except for we weren't allowed to hold hands and kiss or do things in the hallway or hug. We weren't allowed to do that, with our boyfriends or girlfriends. That wasn't allowed. But was there values and principles and morals that we had to follow in that school? Not clear ones, for sure. Why? Well, because one of my teachers went and got a student pregnant. Another one committed suicide. Were there values and principles that they were following, and were they distributed and conveyed in the school? Was there something on the wall that when you came in said, this is how we operate here. This is how we think. This is how we do things. This is what you can expect. So if you want to expect good things in your life and you want it to be more predictable, you have to live with intention, and you have to have values and principles and morals that you know that you can live by. So when a situation comes, you don't make a rash decision and do something that's against what you believe in, because then it's too late. And once you made one bad decision, it's easy to make more and more and more and more and more. And as Atomic Habits taught us, James Clear taught us in that book, that if you make one bad decision, it can move you right down to zero performance. One good decision can make you 37 times better in 12 months. So that's the value of making good decisions versus bad decisions. But if you don't have values and principles and morals to live by, then how are you going to make effective decisions? How are you going to decide what's good for you? I mean, if somebody comes to you and says, hey, I've got this money, this $10,000 here, it was really free given to me. I didn't need it, and I'd like to give it to you. You might just say, yeah, I'll take it, but where is it from, and what's it for, and did you work for it? Is it legal? Are you going to ask these questions, or are you going to just say, wow, that's $10,000. I mean, what could I do with that, and how valuable would that be for me? So without any type of North Star, without your values, you will have an unpredictable life. You will go off in different directions based on how you're feeling. And if you watch one of my previous videos, you know this, that when your emotions are high, when your emotions are really high and you're emotionally disturbed, your intelligence is low. So your intelligence gets lowered as your emotions go up. Intelligence down, emotions up. And that's the way it is. So when your emotions are high and you're in a situation, you might make a poor decision and then regret it later. But it's too late then. You set precedents. And unless you have some real morals or some real standards that you're living by, you will not go back on that decision the next time. You'll have the same opportunity and you'll say, yeah, well, I didn't get hit by lightning not last time, or something bad didn't happen to me, and I didn't go to jail, so I'll do that thing again. And it can keep going and going and going and going and going. And unfortunately, that's the nature of it. I mean, I grew up in an alcoholic family, and my father drank while driving. And so in that case, he got away with it and got away with it and got away with it. And as long as he got away with it and no harm came to him, then he could do that. And so his values were that, I enjoy drinking and I'm going to drink whenever I like and however I like. And even if the law says no and it's bad for me and bad for my life or my family's life and other people's lives, I'm going to continue doing it. And even after a car accident killed 2 people and injured myself, I was in a coma, and my brother and my mother, even after that, my father still didn't stop drinking and driving. Even after that, drunken driver hit us, killed himself, killed his dog, and killed 2 people in the car I was in. And even after that, still did not shake him up enough to change. So you can see how deeply rooted things can get. And if you don't have values and principles and morals dialed in, you will do whatever is comfortable, whatever is familiar, and you'll be unpredictable. That's why people are unpredictable. You see this happen all the time. Situations get really emotionally high, and what do people do? They do irrational things. And you don't want to be that way. That's why you're watching this video. You're probably somebody who wants to have a life that's predictable and that is full and happy and enjoyable. Not one that can go off in any direction, and one day you're feeling good, one day you're feeling bad, and you don't know your sense of direction. That is not a life worth living or a life worth dying for, is it? So your values and principles matter. And if you don't have them dialed in, you're going to run into a lot of problems, and you probably have noticed this in your life already. And as I'm speaking to you, you're probably realizing I've made some bad decisions. Why? Because I didn't know my values. I didn't have my principles. I didn't have any morals to live by. And I've been watching people in movies and videos and media and learning from them and trusting that I can rely on them and that they have values and principles and morals, but they don't. That's just the bottom line. In fact, people that are in Hollywood and on TV and in movies, they have the greatest amount of trauma. That's why they broke out of that mold. They went and worked hard. They had to break outside of their box, and they went and did something that was totally uncomfortable so that they could get attention and validation, but they're highly traumatized. So, you look at that, movie stars, musicians, politicians, all these people, highly traumatized, and yet they are the ones that are leading us, and we are following them. Zero morals, zero values, no principles. So you can change this, and you've got this, and I've got your back. Thanks for watching.